Hello YouTube, how's it going? Adam here, and Sony is deciding to take the extra step in making $70 the new norm for all video games. Now, this was expected. I was one of the holdouts hoping this wouldn't happen because we only saw like select games getting this treatment, such as Demon Souls Remake and NBA 2K, whatever live service update that they sell full price was being released. Either way, soon followed, other companies started raising their prices. Ubisoft, EA. I'm not sure if Microsoft did it because I just get their games off Game Pass. They're pushing the service rather than, actual game sales. Either way, The Last of Us Part 1, which is a re-release of the PS I don't it's just a re-release of the game that came out on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and now PlayStation 5 and PC. But if you go on the PC version of this game, I was going to use an example later, but this one is $60, so a lot of people waited for the PC version of this game to get it at $60, which is $10 cheaper. Unfortunately, the game was, it was a terrible PC port. They're trying to fix it, still at mixed, but generally they did have pretty good PC ports, such as Spider-Man, which was handled well, which is also being sold at $60. Not saying that every Sony release is at $70. PS4 games are still at $60, such as God of War Ragnarok, which is at $60, and you can get the PS5 version for $70. I thought they started charging $10 extra if you wanted to upgrade from the PS4 to PS5 version. I remember that Horizon Forbidden West was the final game they said that would allow for the free upgrade. Not sure about that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do remember them saying that. Either way, Sony has been quietly raising the prices on its games in certain regions. Now, if you live in America, the greatest country in the world, it's not going to affect you, but other countries that are unfortunately going to have their game prices raised on Steam because Sony needs more money. Look, I understand games are getting more expensive to develop. They require more, bigger teams, better resolution, better optimization. Games are getting more expensive, and they've been at $60 for a while now. I don't know when the default price started to kick in. I believe it was during the N64 generation. But I remember on the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo generation, games would go up to $120. I remember Super Mario RPG was literally $120 at Toys R Us. You can look that up on old, Toys R Us ads of how expensive games used to be. While inflation has been cooling down in a lot of places, Sony has quietly raised the PlayStation game prices on Steam in select regions. Reset user Chairman Chunk spotted a price increase for PS4 and PS5 on Steam, affecting several regions, including Argentina, Canada, Chile, China, Colombia, Japan, and South Korea. Dude, Canada in particular, games were already really expensive. I remember Nitro Rad was saying, he would have to spend $100 Canadian to get a game. But dear God, the games have been affected by inflated prices, including Sackboy Returnal, which was ported over to the PC back in February, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Horizon Zero Dawn, Days Gone, and God of War 2018. So this is not just modern releases. This is games that released all the way, I believe Days Gone came out in 2018 or 2017, but this is over 4 years old. This game definitely, God of War, they're raising the price of a game that's over 4 years old. It's like just going in reverse. It's like what Facebook did with the Meta headset where they raised the price. Dude, this is insane. According to PlayStation Lifestyle, who confirmed the findings, the aforementioned games experienced price jumps on Steam between April 14th and April 19th. However, how much they cost now depends on the year they were released. For example, Returnal may carry a higher price tag since it came out in 2021, while Horizon Zero Dawn may be generously cheaper given that it was released in 2017. Yeah, but it's still more expensive than it was a month ago. So these are the following countries: Argentina, Canada, Chile, China, Colombia, Japan, and South Korea. I'm surprised Japan. You would expect that wouldn't happen. Every country except for the US, and surprisingly not Britain. Sony hasn't officially announced the price jumps for PlayStation games on Steam. It's unknown if the price increases will affect the prices in other digital and physical retail storefronts in the respective region, or whether even more regions can expect to see similar price increases. Now, I think inflation is partly to blame for this, but I think the major thing is that Sony is testing the waters. Usually when a company does this and does it in such a secretive way, they know someone's going to find out. This is the internet age. Someone is going to pick up on this. But I think what they're doing is testing the waters to see how slow these game sales decrease based on, these regions when these prices increase, because some of these areas are, known for high levels of gaming, like freaking Japan and South Korea. Japan in particular, that's where freaking Sony is stationed. So maybe they're just testing the waters. That's why they have some of these big names, like, again, Japan and China, that they want to see how well it gauges. And if the price, if sales decrease but the differences in prices still increase the profit margin, they might roll it out as a universal thing, because literally there is no reason for them to not charge $70 for their PC games at this point. I know a lot of people will say, well, they shouldn't, because PC games are $60. They can do that if they want. If they want to charge $70 for Spider-Man, they can. If they want to charge $70 for The Last of Us or Returnal or any of these games, they can. Or when God of War Ragnarok comes out, what's stopping them from charging $70 on PC? Nothing. They set the prices. Not Steam, not Valve. Sony, or whatever the publisher is, they set the prices for their game. So they're probably just going to see how well this goes, not in terms of reception. Reception is obviously going to be bad. The negative backlash from this is going to be very huge, as you might expect. But when it comes to, like, what really matters, like their fiscal report, that's a different story. If they start to see that this is making money, people are still spending this money on their games instead of, like, not buying them. Because, again, these are older games. They're not doing this for their recent titles, at least as far as I can tell. This is what the article states. But, I can see that happening. They're probably just going to say, okay, it's going over well fiscally, so let's do this for our Universal games. Because let's face it, Sony, they don't really care. I mean, why would they? They literally said, like, the whole reason with the Horizon Forbidden West free update was that the backlash was so paramount that, and they did it in such a insidious, secret way, that they literally just did it just to shut everyone up. And then they just said, this is the final time. Like, the parent scolding their kid when they don't get McDonald's. They're like, okay, but this is the final time you're getting McDonald's for the month. And you're like, okay. And then the next time you want McDonald's, they're like, nope, that was the last time. You have to wait until later. Of course, that's circumstance, and this is literally a permanent price hike. But that's how I'm going to see this. They're going to do this, and they're going to test it out, and eventually it's going to be the norm. I know that's something a lot of us don't want. I don't want that. Games are really expensive. Freaking controllers are expensive. Consoles are expensive. Video cards are insanely expensive. Everything is just getting more expensive for gaming. At this point, I might just do free-to-play games. But, yeah. Tell me, what do you think about this? Because I feel like this is just going to become the norm. Soon we're going to start paying $70 across the board for all games. That's how I see it's going to happen. And there's nothing we can really do about it. After all, yeah, again, game budgets are ballooning. They need more money to sustain not only AAA development for single-player games, but also live services. Either way, that's how I see this is going to go down. Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you're a PC gamer, hardcore, I would love to hear your opinion on this. Will you continue, like, to pay $70 for games like this, or you just wait for it to go on a sales day? Because Steam is actually very good when it comes to sales. Till then, thanks for watching. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. And that's me. Goodbye.